morning to those of you who celebrate. It's not a bad morning, actually. The leaves are coming down. It's finally cool here. When I left here, it was like 90 degrees. And it rained today. There's no better day than an autumnal rainy day. That's the best day that you could possibly have. Wish I could stay in bed all day. But I can't. I have to do the show, among other things. I'm back at work. Came back to work yesterday to a fresh, re-energized hatred for the job, as that meme shows. It was a good night at work to be back at work. I guess it wasn't too crazy or anything. But as I walked into the comm center and walked up to my console, I just couldn't help but feel like I'm not happy to be here, not ready to be here. Vacation always ends too fast. It was the fastest 9 days of my entire life. But I do have time off coming later this month, and then like a couple stretches in November, and possibly more. So I'm going to try to find a way to survive until those stretches, but eventually the vacation runs out. So you've got to ask yourself, like, how do you keep going on, especially when, the time away is good, but it doesn't seem to be completely refilling your cup. I don't know. I'm going to have to change my attitude or find some way to take some joy in things, or find some way to de-stress or change up my routine. I'm somebody who likes a routine, but I also hate getting stuck in a rut. So basically, I'm never happy. Those are my two choices. Thanks to everyone who's here, especially Talia, who just sat here and waited for a while. She's here to commiserate about job hate, hear about the vacation. I could talk about the vacation a little bit. Abby's here for at least a little bit until she goes off to the gym. Good to see you. Felony's here, legally required. Salamander is here. Foxy's here. My own sister is here. Good to see you, to my sister. So I almost didn't take vacation. I just, things weren't really lining up correctly for me to go. And then, I just started kind of like falling apart. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go anyway. And I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. Nothing seemed like a good idea because I'm traveling alone. So it's like, you're going to have this whole experience by yourself. And in some ways, I very much deserve and like to be alone. It's like, who would want to be around me? But just nothing seemed right. So I just said, well, I'll go home. I'll go home to Virginia. And even if it's not the most spectacular vacation ever, I can have a nostalgia trip. So I flew out to Virginia. I landed in Norfolk. And, instantly, as soon as I get off the plane, I'm in the airport. I feel home. So I don't feel anxious. I'm not worried about my itinerary. Traffic's going to be kind of an ordeal, but I'm so spoiled most of the time with leaving work and not having any other cars on the road with me at all, and no stoplights, that even if it takes me an hour to get where I'm going, it's like, that'll be fine. So I had no problems with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I would guess I would like to compliment them on making that a hassle-free experience. I pretty much walked up to them and they're like, you want a Chevy Trailblazer? I'm like, yes. And then they're like, D35, my man. And they just gave me the keys, like no complicated walk around. No one asked me for my insurance or anything. When I was down in Florida last year, I felt like I had to give them a pint of blood in order for them to turn over a yellow Jeep to me, which Drew said looked like the short bus. So it was a warning to others that I was a little bit, not a good driver. Drew and Kara made relentless fun of me for that. Just really went after me. But so then, I kind of drove over the river through the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. And I went home to Newport News, and I start seeing more and more signs that are kind of like the signs of like, this is my side of town. Tons of traffic. Traffic's real heavy, but I don't care. And I get off the interstate and I go by my old house where I used to live until I graduated from high school and moved out here. And everything's smaller and all the trees are bigger, and there's changes everywhere. But it hasn't changed that much since the last time I was here. So then I went over to Target where I had my first job. I worked there for 10 months and nowhere is there a sign of my legacy. No one's there to congratulate me or say hello. I don't, they've got some newbies working there, you got to remember I stopped working there in August of 2003. And I think they've hired a few people since then. I didn't see anyone I knew. So I don't know if they were all just taking the day off too or what. But they have massively remodeled that store. And I went inside and I just had the feeling like I had never been in there before. So like it was like anti-nostalgia. I could go to the place where I used to work, but I can't even tell that I've ever been there. That's fine. I was going out there to play disc golf. You guys may not know that about me, and you may not like that about me that I play disc golf, but I love playing disc golf. I forgot my discs, so I had already resolved that I would find a place to buy a used one, new to me but used otherwise. Well, there's this little store called Play It Again Sports, had opened up right next to Target, and I know that they sell used sporting goods, so I went in there and found some easily. Went over to my hotel, checked in. It was a hotel that my dad once, he went insane when he went to stay there for a while. So I knew it was a nice place. And then, just hung out with some friends of mine. I was there. And they invited their parents over because their parents missed me, apparently. I'm like, I'm trying to leave them alone. It was a good time. And then, no trip home would be complete without driving through the ghetto. So I went driving through my old neighborhood at night just for the legitimate feel of terror that we often had growing up. It's not a good neighborhood. The thing is that the houses look nice. Like the HOA is keeping that place together, but there's a certain amount of riffraff and urban individuals who inhabit the place who show you through the piles of garbage everywhere laying out on the street. Which, do they even pick that stuff up? I don't recall the city ever coming out and collecting that stuff, And anyway, went to bed, and then the next day I kind of did the same thing where I was nostalgia tripping. I went to a comic book store that I went to a couple times as a kid, still there, and went out to lunch at a place called Van Costa's, an Italian restaurant, and because I missed it so much, I ordered 2 lunches. I had the gyro, and then they had a pulled pork, which, if you don't know this about the South, they can do pulled pork very well. So I had that. Played a good game of disc golf. Very sadly, I was tied going into the 18th hole with my friend, but he beat me in the last hole. So sad to see, but it was a tight game. It was a good game the entire time. And then I went up to a beach Yorktown Beach, where we actually defeated the British. It was the siege at Yorktown where we defeated General Cornwallis. So the history is there, the beach is there, the nostalgia is there, the little pubs are there. Didn't stop for a beer. Went to church. That was quite an experience. So I go to church, and I know my friends, they all go to church there. I used to go to church there in the 90s, and a little bit when I was in high school. So until 2003. But none of the people that go to church there know me. It's been 20 years, and it's a military community, so people are always kind of coming and going. But after we had supper, there's adult, it's like a Sunday school class, but it's on Wednesday night. And so the kids all go outside and play, and I'm hanging out with one of my friends there. And I'm just, the kids are there, and she's watching the kids. And then I realized later, I'm like, none of these people know who I am. And all of a sudden I'm outside watching their kids. No one said anything, but I went to Bible class, and I participated a little bit because that's a good idea. But then afterwards, people are all walking up to me, trying to get to know me because they want to make sure I come back next week. I'm like, I'm not coming back to this church ever again because I don't live here. But then I kind of got to explain about how, I used to go here back in the 90s, and I just come back every 10 years just to maintain the membership and just to make sure that you guys are doing things well around here. Anyway, people gave up on me suitably fast. Then the second part of my trip, I always kind of when I go somewhere, I always like to kind of go 2 places. Like last year when I went to Florida, I went to Orlando and then I went to Tampa. I did both just to see how many tolls I could rack up. The answer, $60. But don't drive across Florida, everyone. But so then I went out west to a place called Stanton, Virginia, which is the birthplace of President Woodrow Wilson. I went to his birth home, where they completely disregarded and ignored everything about Woodrow Wilson that makes him controversial as a president. His racism, his stroke, which left his wife in charge, a woman running the country who no one voted for, but it's fine. He should have been 25th Amendment, but he wasn't, which is fine. The racism, you know, the income tax that was supposed to sunset at the end of World War I, but we're all still paying. I tried not to make a big deal of this because I was visiting it with a friend of mine, and she's left leaning, and so I wasn't going to be like, "Hey, Democrat Party is the party of racism. Why are we glossing over that?" The party of slavery, anyway. But she and I actually had some good political talks. She was telling me that the school system in Virginia has really alienated her with some woke policies. And this is a person that I've always kind of held in my life as the standard bearer, as my friend is the most liberal friend I have. And I said to her, they've got to be bad if they've alienated you. Like, if you think they've gone too far, it's too far. And she was telling me about how, they're forced to go to certification. Anyway, it's clear that I didn't go to school long enough. In which she's programmed to believe or teach or have as part of her indoctrination that it's wrong to be white, and that you've got to understand that your students who are persons of color have deficiencies that they'll never overcome, right? The soft bigotry of low expectations. I should have used those words with her, but I wasn't trying to dogpile on her. It's amazing that when you have liberals that are unhappy with how liberal things are, she's very, very, very liberal. Like, we would tease each other a lot. We always got along. But the most important thing is we had a conversation about how the very rich and the very powerful really want people of different political persuasions to not get along, to not be friends, to not talk, to hate each other. We talked about how social media has a role in that, how it agitates us, radicalizes us, makes us hate our neighbors and our friends and our family. And that the longer that we are looking at each other with fear and hatred, the less we are looking at those people who are in authority and power above us. And I should have made this point with her, but it's kind of like staircase wit. As soon as it's over, you come up with 10 more great points. But she and I are from the same place. We're both kind of have, parents who were in the military, who kind of got that background. We have both a lot of shared memories of like the restaurants we ate at, and the culture that we have just growing up in the same place, and the background. And like, we couldn't be more far apart politically, but she and I have so much in common. I have more in common with her than I do with Donald Trump, this, guy, this billionaire who's handed a lot of money, lost it all, remade his fortune over and over again, which is good for him, I guess. He's a successful guy, a smart guy, but he has nothing in common with me. I'm not like him. He doesn't represent me, the person. By the same token, the entire time that I'm hanging out with her, I'm getting nothing but intelligence and kindness from her, and sincerity. And so I know that she has nothing in common with Kamala Harris. And yet these huge figures on the left and right want us to be divided from each other, even though we have more in common with each other than we do with them. And the reason for that is that if common people on the left and right, people of different political persuasions, neighbors, friends, family, if we all placed primary importance on the things that bind us together as a community and as friends and as neighbors and as family, we would not give over We would not give over so much of our energy and money and the power that we have as citizens to these people who don't represent us at all. If we could take joy in each other and not in these divisive politics that we find on social media and elsewhere. And she and I, um, just really far apart in what we'd see in for policy in this country. But I respect her. She's come about this way of thinking, not through like sitting through hours of CNN programming, but they're just her beliefs. And, it's just refreshing after all these years of discord to have a friend where, you go into it, you're like, yeah, we don't agree on anything, but you have an honest conversation about some stuff that's going on. If you can get to that point with somebody, I would really encourage you to do that because there's something freeing about that. But that's all we need to do. We can get to the memes. Tyler's here. Merry freaking Monday. Drew's here as well, not listening. He just puts it on just to drive my algorithm. But he doesn't. He cares about supporting me professionally, but not personally. Good morning, Jenny. This morning has been slow. I hate my job too. I don't hate my job. I hate the feelings that I have associated with my job. I like being a 911 dispatcher. But it seems like there's a heaviness when I go in there now. Just because I haven't been happy there. I like my job, but I'm not happy. Does that make sense? I don't know. You know what help your attitude? Lifting heavy weights and angry music. Jenny, you'd be so proud of me yesterday. I got, because Stanton is in the hills and I was doing all this hiking, I actually hiked through a tunnel, through a mountain that's almost a mile long. It used to be operated by a train company called Norfolk and Southern. And I did so much hiking and I was so not conditioned for any kind of terrain because when I go for walks around here, I'll walk 4 miles, but there's no hills. It's huffing and puffing so hard that yesterday I climbed on the, what is it, the stair climber, Stairmaster thing. Unfortunately, I'm still having problems with my diet. Yesterday, I decided I was going to be back on my diet, but before I went to bed, I cut loose in typical John fashion. You just ruin the whole day right before you go to sleep. But I woke up today with my legs sore. So it was a leg day yesterday. I feel like I'm the only one here actually on a smoke break. Have I successfully replicated what it feels like to be on a smoke break? Went to Toronto and it was actually kind of nice. Chase, good morning. Oh, stop. We were just trying to love you with our cruelty. All right. So circling back to Drew and his wife being mean to me. Since I won't have it misunderstood in a moment of jest what actually happened. I wouldn't want anyone to get the wrong impression from me. The nicest people on earth. Like Drew gets mad on this show, but he's just the nicest guy. He cared so much that I was there. It meant a lot to him. I was surprised when I left. Like he gave me a big old bear hug. I'm like, that's where we are. So unlike most podcasters that hate each other, Drew and I like each other quite a bit. And his wife, super nice to me. You aware that she baked like over 10,000 cupcakes and had over 400 beers there for me? It's like, okay, let's get fat and let's get drunk. Except Drew, who's having his Guinness Zero. Drew, there haven't been more statement made. There hasn't been a more true statement made. Yes. Did you go to the Blue Jays versus Yankees game? That's not for me. I drove from Washington State to Iowa to Florida and back to Iowa in a 6-month period by myself and an angry cat. I don't recommend it. COVID was to blame. I'd like a road trip, so I probably would have enjoyed that. Still drinking coffee here, and I'm clocked in. I've been driving. All right. Yum, gyro, pronounced gyro in the Midwest, of course. No one pronounces it that way. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm in the Midwest. So think that might just be you. When I go home to Wisconsin, it's always nostalgic and sad that it's changed so much. You cannot go home again, but what kind of adult gathering to have at your church? Just kidding. Um, Adult rather than children, because there's children there. The children, I think, just play. And the high schoolers are supposed to be having youth group, but I don't think I saw the youth pastor or anything, so I don't know what they were doing. I don't know why I'm coughing so much this morning, possibly because I'm on the internet. The only place I've ever driven on a toll road is in Mexico, because you pay the toll and start on the roads that are safe. That's worrisome. Tried going to church in Washington State, Unitarian Universalism, and I tried to fit in, but well, I will tell you about Unitarian Universalism. That's a fake church. That is a cult that's not based on anything. In fact, you can go from Unitarian Universalism church one to the other across town, and they don't have any doctrine in common because it's not based on anything. They want to capture the community feeling and the good feelings that come with going to church, and none of the accountability, none of the, like I said, none of the biblical doctrine, none of the things that are going to edify you and make you a human being. They're just giving you a church so you can say you go to church, which is empty and pointless. It doesn't impress God at all. Sorry. I hate to come out so strong against the Unitarian Universalism, but I see what they're up to. And even before the politics kind of took over that whole thing, they were never anything good. They're going to deceive you, and they're going to lead you astray. And there's a hole in your heart that you need to fill with God, and you're going to go there thinking that you're filling up that hole inside of you. And it's not going to happen. I was at a Mormon church stay-at-home weekend and watched the TV. But I also haven't gone to church in a long time other than for funerals. Again, same thing with Mormon churches. That's a religion that was made up at the same time as A1 steak sauce. So there's no universal truth there to be found. Sorry. I don't mean to dogpile on Mormons either, but I'm also not going to I'm not going to equivocate and say that all ideas have legitimate value, because they don't. You guys know I'm a Christian. There's only one way to God, and it's through Jesus. And this other stuff is it's all placed in the world to satisfy the innate feeling that this drive that we all have to seek out God inside of us. But it's placed here by Satan to divert you away. Actually, the same thing with like spiritualism in general, and frankly, paranormal phenomenon. It's all bad. It's all meant to make you feel connected to a larger universe without giving you a direct connection to God. Sorry, that's your sermon for today. But just as a reminder, this show is free. So, you get what you get. I could go for some coffee. I don't have an energy drink at all in this house. Actually, I do. They're at the fridge out there. I wish I'd grabbed one. That wasn't smart. Jonathan, my gym has been closed since last Wednesday for a remodel, but should be open today. Their Stairmaster is amazing. Do some high intensity. In 15 minutes, you will be dying. I knew it was my first time doing the stair climber since, man, 10 years. When I first went to the gym, for the first time as an adult, like seriously going to the gym, first thing I did was get on the stair climber, and I had that go to hell, get 'em energy, that first drove me to the gym. And so I set this thing on like 9. It literally threw me off because I couldn't keep up. And everyone in the gym turned and saw me fall onto the floor. And it was this huge moment. I'm so grateful that it happened because of the way human psychology works. I was so embarrassed, so publicly humiliated, that I had to make a decision. Either I was so embarrassed I would never come back here again, or I had to form up the courage in my mind to say, I don't give a fuck. I'm here and I'm doing this no matter what happens, no matter how embarrassed I am in this moment, no matter how much I want to leave. I created a profound psychological commitment to doing it. So I got back on and set it on 3. And so yesterday when I was doing it, I set it on 1 because I'm like, I'm going to do this for 15 minutes and it's not going to wear me out and I'm not going to be tired, but I'm going to feel it tomorrow. And sure enough, I ended up going to about 3 and I did it for about 15 minutes. So it wasn't high intensity, but um, I felt it this morning. So yeah, my legs hurt. Drew is the salt of the earth person. He is. He hates that though. He doesn't want to be known as that. He wants to be kind of known as a tough ass grizzled cop. So I'll be reinforcing that stereotype going forward. Smoke break hit boxing's 2 smokes in 15 minutes. Hot boxing. Wouldn't know about either one. By the way, Jonathan, off air, I can help you build an amazing meal plan using AI. I know you've shown me. I'm almost kind of there because like yesterday, had some protein shakes and some cuts of sashimi, all this low calorie stuff. And so it went really well. And then at work, I had some tuna and some mayonnaise, for my protein and fat. And then if only the day had ended there, but before the day is when I went home, I had trail mix. It's like an indulgent chocolatey trail mix. I ruined the whole day. But today's a new day. Michael, good to see you. I don't pronounce it gyro, but I have definitely heard it said like that. Yeah, well, I mean, there's wrong people all over the place. Coughing because you flown in an airplane, which is a disease tube hurtling you through the air. Actually, what it is I always just have problems down here. Maybe I just need to replace my air filter and it's dusty down here. Maybe I just need to open my window and just blow it out. I've got some like curtains hanging on the wall in here to kind of help control the light because it's a set, and I probably just need to open the windows. It's probably dust in here. I just wanted a sense of community when I went to the Unitarian Church. We all think the way we do, and that's fine with me mostly. Right. Yeah. But toward what end? You want a sense of community? At least don't deceive yourself into thinking that you're going to church. Watch the Tucker Carlson episode with the guy who studied AI as being part of the dark spiritual realm. I saw somebody on X yesterday. Drew, I was like checking out our X account for some reason. I don't know why. Apparently you're still using that thing. But someone was saying that Tucker is a Satanist or that he's with the devil now or something. I don't keep up with Tucker Carlson, but is he a Satanist? Is that what's going on with him? I always say I'm just going to do memes right away, and then I talk for half an hour. But so we'll get into it. I won't do the garments. I got baptized way later in life. You're supposed to. You're supposed to get baptized later in life once you understand what's going on with God. I got baptized at age 35, so it was just a couple years ago. No point in being baptized as a baby. You have no idea what's happening. You were raised Mormon until around age 21 and 22. You have issues with it, and especially the Utah Mormons. They're a different breed. You're not even the first person I've known who's been associated with Mormons in Utah, and the person I knew before you had some stories of vicious and criminal cruelty that she was subjected to, and a lifestyle and way of life that is not in concordance with God's views of how men and women should relate and treat each other. So I don't know. I'm not here to like tell you what's right and wrong. I'm here to tell you that the Bible does that. So you can get mad at me if you want. But the truth convicts all of us, and it makes all of us uncomfortable. I was an exceptionally astute Catholic baby and completely understand the meaning of my baptism. You understood justification by faith? You got that all? Okay. Mormons baptized at 8 years old. Okay. I know some people who were baptized at 8. Well, you can get off the baptized thing. This isn't like a seminar on Anabaptist philosophy or anything. Although it's just, I've reached the point, I used to be at the point where just like any Christians are really good with me. Like, Mormons, like I don't believe what they believe, but they believe in Christ, so they're good. Same thing with Catholics. But in recent years, like seriously, like within the last 3 years, I've got to the point now where I just have no tolerance. I guess I can't put that any other way. All right. So quick update on this situation. Merch. I tried to turn off merch. I got in contact with them. They said, okay, you can't close down your own store. You're going to need to do it with us. So we're going to give you this form on how to shut down your store. So I said, okay, I'll do the form. They said, what's your email associated with your account? I'm like, well, that's stupid. You emailed this form to me. I obviously know what that is. What's your first and last name? I remembered that. Then they're like, send us the URL of your first listing. And I'm like, do you mean the first one on the page? Because the first listing was, they're listed in order of newest first and oldest last. So you say newest listing or first listing. Do you literally mean the thing the first sweatshirt I posted in May? Or do you mean the one from today? So that's vague. And then they're like, okay, on what date did you open your account with Spring? And I'm like, I don't I'm supposed to remember the day I opened my account? What is going on here? And so I think the earliest email I have from them is May 29. And that's the same day as a listing of me making a failure to stop t-shirt, which makes me think like that's probably the day I opened it up. But it might not be, I might have opened it up and then didn't upload any designs until later. And then they're like, what's the reason for you closing your account? So I'm like, well, your refusal to send out any products to anyone that ordered them and your refusal to pay me. I did check. They said that they gave me a payout of $55 on like August 24th to PayPal. I checked my PayPal. I never received any goddamn money. Teespring is an absolute scam. I'm surprised anyone got anything from them. I'm sure it was an accident. And now I've sent off this form and they say, well, you can expect your account to be closed in 1 business day. I will be shocked if they actually follow through with it. They're just being like, yeah, your form was incorrect. And what? They're just going to keep it going forever? They're just going to sell my designs that I made, which I'm sure when I open up the shop and I click, agree to terms, it's probably like, oh, you have the rights to all my artwork forever, so I can't sue. And you have the right to sell this forever, and there's nothing I can do. And so basically, my view of Teespring is this. They get me, Chump, to upload designs that you guys will all pay for, give them money for, and then you give them the money, and then they never send anything out. So they have zero overhead. They don't manufacture anything. They maybe send out 1 or 2 designs from my shop to kind of keep me on a leash, to keep me here thinking that everything's working at first, so that I don't immediately like try to shut it down right away. And then some time goes by and everyone gets pissed off, including me and all of you, and they don't care because they've got the money from whatever it is they made, and they don't care if anyone ever orders again because they just keep farming everyone. They just keep scamming everyone. They'll keep bringing in new people to Teespring. People won't be able to shut down their accounts. Someone who follows me or Drew at some point will order another shirt because they'll just see it, and then Teespring will get more money, and then when we ask for our cut, that will never happen. And then what are we supposed to do? Take them to small claims court for $55? Such a waste of time. But they've basically turned merchandising in this country and anywhere that will buy it into a Farmville situation where they're all just mining. They're having us grind and mine and make them money, and then they don't have to give a shit. They don't have to be responsive to us, and they can come up with ridiculous forms about what we need to do to turn off the shop, as if it's not just up to me as the creator. So I'm really, really, really unhappy to have done business with Teespring, and I think that they're a bunch of scammers. And I can't say more bad things about them. I wish I could. I don't recommend them for anyone. And I hope that Drew has all his emails and everything he needs to shut down Teespring for Comm Center, because extremely disappointed and angry. When I was 8, I was baptized. I just didn't get around to it when I was a baby. Oh, well, the thing is that if you don't feel like that's stuck, you could do that again. It's about recognizing your actual relationship with God. And sometimes, even if you're just a different person now than you were before, in terms of your understanding with your relationship with God, you can do that again. It would mean something to God for you to do that. Teespring sounds like they're trying to get out of a MLM. I don't know what that is, but I agree. She forwarded me on an email that they had allegedly sent that I'd not seen, so I'm suspicious that they even sent that earlier email. I'll be wearing my Comm Center shirt today in celebration of getting it. Jenny's like the success case. I did get my sweatshirt, never got my t-shirt. I did get a refund for the t-shirt and a couple of nasty grams. Yeah. What do I do? Remind them that they never paid me? They say they paid me, and yet, what am I supposed to do? Send them a screenshot showing that I have no activity on my PayPal? They won't care. Report them to the internet police. Isn't that Drew? Isn't he the internet police? Multi-level marketing. Yes, got you. Yes, I knew that. I think the reason that you didn't get paid is that Drew secretly took over control of the account as part of a coup. That's a good theory. Let's do the memes. This is me ending my relationship with Teespring. I actually love leaving off on a bad note. Fuck you for life. This is not me in real life, by the way. I have a lot of angst about relationships and friendships that are over that ended on a bad note. I hate that feeling. But not Teespring. Fuck you for life, Teespring. My parents in their 30s. Let's buy this house and have 3 children. Me in my 30s. Let's make a meme about it. By the way, this person making the meme, who is a gray blob, is using apparently Adobe Illustrator, which seems a little overwrought. Like you wouldn't necessarily need Adobe Illustrator to make that meme. Just food for thought. You could probably make that in Paint. This goes out to someone special. She knows who she is. Don't use Q-tips to clean your ears. You'll just push the wax in further. Well, yeah, sure, except for my special technique. If I use my special technique, then it's fine. I was literally told by this person not to use Q-tips. And I'm like, I know how to do this. You kind of go in from the side and kind of twisting so that it kind of like drills it out. The Ivy League invented football as a substitute for war. And the South was like, damn, this is the best thing since war. This pretty much sums up my beliefs about football. War was always with us. War was too destructive for us to continue on as a civilized society. And so we needed something that would be a good substitute for war. They say the Olympics are that, but who are we kidding? We have skateboarding in the Olympics, poker in the Olympics, and all these things. So football is the best damn thing since war. My landlord said I can't have a cat. So I bought a box of 500 live house centipedes instead. Turns out he's not happy about that either. Well, tough. This is called compromise. We're compromising now, all 502 of us. You guys ever played hardball with the landlord? You can't have a cat. Can I have 500 centipedes? It's like no one wants to day drink and smoke cigarettes anymore. Nobody. Come on now. What is the day for? You guys know if you smoke enough weed, you can actually get off the spectrum. You know me, in favor of drugs. This one coming up. Posting, wow, super problematic under everyone's Halloween costume, and then responding, I will not do the labor of educating you when they ask for an explanation. I was dating somebody in 2015, and we were going out for Halloween. And we went to this club, which was the last time I ever went to a club. Oh, Lord, what am I supposed to do at a club? But anyway, this person was, they went to a public university in Minnesota. So it's like, she didn't even know how woke she was. I helped her. But when we got there, she saw someone dressed up like a Native American female or an Indian or Pocahontas or whatever. But you get it, right? Feather, not dot. And she says, wow, like the cultural appropriation, it's not okay. And I said, yeah, it's not even realistic. She's not even drunk yet. Wow, okay. Just a joke, everyone. In addition to all the political stuff you guys are talking about, I just wanted to add how these days everyone is also on their phone. What? In addition to all the political stuff you guys are talking about, I just wanted to add how these days everyone is on their phone also. Is this a fallacy or a vacancy of thought, or is it like super sharp? Politics is now a part of everything, and our phones are driving that. Reasonable responses for what's wrong with you? I don't know, pal. I just work here. I don't make the rules. I just follow them. Marshmallow factory incident, maladaptive hardware issues, quantum entanglement. For all of you Schrodinger cats fans, that's the one that you should go with. I made eye contact with the Slender Man. What's wrong with you? I made eye contact with the Slender Man. My mitochondria have stage fright. It's the powerhouse of the cell, and they're not working. Why? Who sent you? That's just being between me and any deities who haven't blocked me yet. All you perceive of me is but a mirror of that which you project on me. It's you, buddy. By the way, that last sentiment, straight out of Charles Manson. When you look at me, you're looking at you, man. I'm a mirror for you, man. That's a Charles Manson type sentiment. All you perceive of me is but a mirror of that which you project on me. Made an Instagram for my dog, and it never really took off, so I had to put him down. I wonder if Beignet's doing okay. Beignet doesn't talk to me anymore, so I don't know how Beignet's doing. I love how negative you are and how hard you are to be around. This is what my coworkers tell me when I go to work. They love how negative I am and how hard I am to be around. They love the dark energy I bring to the place, how I bring the mood down. They're just coming in. I just suck all the air out. And they love that because they love joylessness. Hot dog season is ending, but hot dog season with a jacket is just beginning. Oh, baby, that's today. Oh, my stomach's rumbling. I don't know if you can hear that. You got yours yesterday. Now you have to suffer. Fucking trail mix. God damn, it's so good. This is a classic one of me from long ago. This is me deciding to become a podcaster, but I found it in my searchings for memes. So I just had to post it again. This is the moment when I decided to become a podcaster with Drew. I hate every last one of them, and I'm going to turn this hate into cash. Anyway, don't date me unless you want to be constantly amazed by the amount of movies and TV shows I've just never seen. Someone who works with me now, she's newer and she's younger, and she has not seen anything that I've seen. We have nothing in common. We have no common culture at all. There's nothing that I can refer to that she understands. I'll make a reference to something, flies over her head, nothing. But she's the one bringing all the joy to everyone. She makes me mad though because she doesn't understand my references. That said, there's a whole lot of shit that I've just never seen. I haven't watched TV or anything. So, Satan, God will never forgive you. Oh, I thought someone who got kicked out of heaven said something. Just remember, he's full of shit. Always remember, if you aren't happy single, you won't be happy taken. Happiness comes from alcoholism, not from relationships. Oh boy. It's been a while since I bought from Teespring, but it won't be bad. But it wasn't bad. Shame they have went downhill. Yeah, they became like an evil corporation. I can't hear out of this ear to that day to this day. What happened to you? Oh, because of the Q-tips. I have to use Q-tips, some sort of filthy savage, or you're not. There's and when you go to the doctor's office, they use essentially a water pick or something, right? Apparently, that's what you're supposed to use. I did get a pressure washer. Maybe I should use that. So what if it takes paint off a house? I'm going to put it in my ear. Pull the trigger. They're going to show up and they're like, were you trying to kill yourself? What? Does anyone here need Amway? I got plenty of soap and brushes. No. Jonathan, I am not that special person, but having worked with hyperbaric chambers, I can second the Q-tips are bad. Bobby pins, much better. Bobby pins? What is a bobby pin? Is that the one with a little safety clasp on it? I thought that was a safety pin. Bobby pin. Is that the one with like the where you use it to keep your hair pinned up? I don't know. Christy, once in college, I was washing my ear and water got in it. It felt like it never came out. Felt all clogged. Q-tips let me down. ENT doctor stuck a tiny vacuum down there and remove the wax. I knew a guy once that had so much wax in his ear he couldn't hear out of there. So that happens. So now I use Q-tips with even more reckless abandon. Here I am being yelled at by my sister. I don't know why. When you yell at me, you have to let me know what you're mad about. Oh, about the Native American thing, probably. It's just Halloween. You need to relax a little bit. I learned that my 8th grade grandmother was a Native American, so now I have to pass and identify as Native American, so that that is the standard, apparently. Yeah. Okay. Go do your 23andMe first. Hey, Tanner. Are you rested? No. One thing that's interesting is that I came from Eastern time back to Central time, and then the clocks changed at that exact same day. So like this morning, I woke up at like 9 o'clock. So like I'm ahead. I could say I have that going for me. Michael Hendricks smoked a bunch of meat, and his diet is going great. If only I had access to those kinds of meats. Glad you aren't in the hospital, or amazed you aren't in the hospital with a heart attack. Yeah, I'd say work the cholesterol all the way up. Jen, I'm working right now, but I'll join the show if you send me an invite. You want to join the show? I guess. I mean, we're doing memes here, but whatever. I mean, I've been asked to do that, so I'm not sure why he wants to join the show, but I will send you one if I have your email, which I think that I do. So I guess watch your email. There it is. Email. Link. I don't know why I'm doing this. This is no good reason other than you mentioned it, I guess. That's enough. So I have sent you a link, Tanner, if you want to join. Why not? First day back of my set, not going great so far. Tanner will bring me in the cans. No, Michael, they'll take the ostriches. Wow, I have no idea what you guys are talking about at all. Don't get it. maybe when he comes on, he can explain to me what's happening because I don't know. Bobby pins is the pin that British police stab immigrants with in self-defense. I don't think that British police defend themselves. I think they know that self-defense against immigrants is against the law. Jonathan, or a curette, but more people have bobby pins. I'm gonna buy some curettes, I guess. I don't know what they are. Bobby pins are standard issue in the UK. I went to high school with bobby pin. Drew in with the one-liners. He has to do that. Wait, the time change happened. Am I really out of touch? Yes, we are back on standard time. Or are we not? Did the time change happen or not? Maybe it never happened. Maybe that's why I feel normal. When does daylight savings end? Daylight savings ends Sunday, October 5. So yesterday. Daylight savings begins on the first Sunday of October. Okay. I guess we don't all agree about that. Jonathan, curettes are little hoops or many shovelly things for your ears. Yeah, I guess, maybe it's different for you than it is for me. Indiana has its own thing. Arizona does its own thing. You ever considered that? Tanner, I sent you a link. Are you coming or no? Patty Jones has to get in here and just be, well, she's like me. She has to be technically correct. It's the best kind of correct you can be. Patty Jones commenting twice today. She's really coming out of her shell, and she's been doing just fine. What do ducks smoke? Quack. Obviously, this isn't true, but just for the purpose of the joke, please suspend your disbelief for 2 fucking seconds. You guys think you could do that? Narcanning my son to wake him up for school. I don't think that works. You know how I know? We've had a lot of diabetic patients that have been Narcaned by cops who are like, "Oh my God, Narcan." I'm like, he has diabetes, dude. He's that's not going to help. When I shut down for real. I'm talking McDonald's ice cream machine shut down. Yeah. Wow, cops will arrest you even if you specifically tell them that they'd better fucking not. Yeah, last night we had some arresting going on. We had some shenanigans going on last night, but it was all right. So yeah, he's dipping his sushi in ranch. I've already contacted HR. Might call the local authorities. Drew, Tanner, other policemen here. I know you'd respond to this seriously and appropriately, wouldn't you? I can't imagine anything worse than this, to be honest. Ranch on a sushi roll and a maki roll. I finished a beer and I immediately want another one because once I start drinking, I find it very difficult to stop. Do you think there's a term for this? If not, I'm thinking gentleman's ambition. Drew, is that accurate? Gentleman's ambition? Is that what it's called when you start drinking and you find it difficult to stop? You have a gentleman's ambition. I thought I liked seeing movies, but it turns out I just like eating candy in the dark where it's illegal to talk to me. I could go for that. I wanted to go for a movie on my birthday, but I wasn't allowed to because I don't actually get to do what I want to do on my birthday, if you can believe that. Taylor Swift has written 100 songs about guys dumping her, but none about her making a sandwich and fetching him a beer. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. Ladies, I'm not a counselor, but maybe just making a sandwich, wearing a sundress, and talking about how you hate the government would solve all your problems. Kind of funny that to ghost someone means the single universally agreed upon thing that ghosts do not do, which is sleep. Yeah, how did that come about? How did the term ghosting come about? I guess every time I've just been, abandoned, I never really thought of it as being ghosted. I'm going to see if I can do my best here. Dr. Frankenstein, it's alive! Igor, great. What should we name him? We won't. I don't know. It might lead to some confusion. It literally will never come up, Igor. Was that worth it? As the numbers fall off, indications early on are no. Being a vampire must be kind of boring because blood every day forever. What if you want something crunchy? They probably have ways of taking like some really sweet blood and putting it into a pan and kind of making it into a fruit roll up type thing or something. This is me on my vacation when I was in Stanton. I went out and did some things, but I also just let myself relax finally because I was feeling some pressure. I'm like, well, it's beautiful outside and there's things to do. And I'm like, I'm just gonna stay here. I haven't left this room in 3 days, Diane, and let me tell you, it's wonderful. Should I watch Twin Peaks? I never watched that show. It's getting a lot of memes these days. This is my new favorite account. Let's do it. Let's order room service. Sorry, Mindy, without zinc for the rotary mechanism, there are no telephones. Zinc! Come back, zinc! Should I explain it? No, I don't think I will. What's next? So here's one that I thought at first I would save because it's like this guy gets it. We answer the screams, the silence, and everything in between. Then we go home, sit in the dark, and pretend we're fine. Dispatch doesn't clock out, it just haunts quieter. The screams turn into late night whispers. And then I was thinking, this might be why people don't take us very seriously. This is a little overwrought to me. The screams turn into late night whispers. I think that you're trying to make a point about how the stuff that you just went through at work stays with you. But we're far from the only ones who are like that. Tanner is here. I will put him on in just 1 second. So don't go away, Tanner. But cops, firefighters, and EMS professionals, everyone else goes through that as well. But we're kind of the ones who are like making a big deal out of what we do. And maybe we're getting labeled as complainers. Joining me now to certify whether or not I am a complainer and whether I am wrong is Tanner. Hello, Tanner. Can you hear me?
What are we talking about? You're right or wrong about what?
Our dispatchers, are we a bunch of big babies?
Oh, you're referring to those memes that I send you.
No, the one that you sent me last night, I don't know if you saw this, that dispatcher John had posted, but I had actually already commented on that about
Oh
how
yeah.
because it's about a cop in the field asking what's the ETA in the tow truck, and the dispatcher's like eating some wings and she's got like a little attitude on her face. And so I said, what does an ETA help? When Tanner arrests somebody, assuming he ever does, and they somebody's got to come and collect the car so that he's not responsible for it. It takes as long as it takes. The tow truck driver's got to wake up. He's got to go get his tow truck. And then, he doesn't have lights and sirens. He doesn't have a sense of urgency. I can't make him get there any faster. So it
Yeah,
takes as
you're
long as it
absolutely
takes.
right.
And you committed to that the moment you decided, perhaps foolishly, to arrest someone, because I guarantee you a judge will set him loose upon your community before your shift is even over. So what a waste of time. But what does an ETA help you do, Tanner? Like, does it just help you understand how long you have to make chit chat with this guy, or what does it help you? What does it help you with?
I can't believe you came up with that off the top of your head. I never even told you. I had that exact scenario last set. That exact scenario.
Well, I've got some experience. I mean,
What does it help me with? Is that a serious question?
Yeah, kind of, because you bother to get on the radio and ask me what's the ETA, and it's just like they'll get there sooner or later. I mean, you can't leave until they get there, and they're not going to get there until they get there. Asking me with the ETA doesn't make them hurry up, and then you want me to call them and ask them the ETA, and I
Yeah,
don't do this
yeah.
because it's all recorded. But I have half a mind to just say it will be 99 minutes, or I will say it will be
Oh yeah.
it will be 10 seconds, because most of the
Or
time this
it'll
is
be as
how,
long as it takes.
yes, or that. But sometimes it shakes out like this. They'll call me, and when I say they, I really mean you, because like, let's make it about you. Dispatch. Can you tell me the ETA on this tow truck? And then I'll be like, I don't have one. I'll call them. And then, as soon as I have them on the line and it's ringing, they answer the phone. You'd be like, yeah, never mind. They're here. Then I'm calling them for no reason. So
I ended up
why do you
leaving the
want an
vehicle last week.
ETA?
I ended up leaving the vehicle last week because uh it would took us it was, oh gosh, what was it? It wasn't a fight, it was like a pursuit in progress or something like that. Uh these three vehicles involved, and these guys were fighting each other, and then they hit the road, and then the one guy truck was tailgating the other one, and they were going into oncoming traffic and whatnot. So we go up, me and my partner. We don't have two police in a car. Is just we ride solo, just because there's so few of us, so we need to cover such a large zone. But anyway, so we go out, and I get first on scene, and the victim carries on. The guy stopped for me, which I was kind of surprised he stopped for me, and then yeah, arrested him, and he was drunk, so I got him for the impaired operation. But yeah, I sat there waiting for the tow for an hour. It was an hour, and usually they're not that long. But I ended up just putting police caution, and the truck was in the middle of the lane. Thank God it was a rural road, so no one was there. But we just put police tape around it and then left the truck there. And we said, like, okay, you guys can go pick it up because I can't stay here. I got other stuff to do. And that was that. So we just had to deal with it.
I'm gonna pass along that pro tip that they should just put crime scene tape around it.
Yeah, yeah, you should. Yeah, just say, oh, just put tape on it and leave it. Lock it up. Make sure all the windows are up. Leave it.
Question for you, Tanner Taliu from Iowa wants to know if you have any sovereign citizen issues in your state.
We do. Yeah, we don't have many of them, but we do.
Any one of them telling you that they're traveling, or they're refusing to tell you their name, or rolling down the window, or any of that good stuff?
Yeah, it's the exact same thing as you guys deal with in the States. In fact, a lot of our training videos on how to deal with sovereign citizens come from the States, but then it gets amended for Canadian law and whatnot. So yeah, there is the I'm traveling. Sometimes they don't have a license plate on their vehicle, or it'll be a fake one. Uh so people don't realize, but in Canada, the authority to arrest, the threshold, the reasonable grounds to believe a crime will be committed, or has been committed, or is committed, is very low. And just because you get arrested in Canada doesn't mean you'll be charged. So it's the two separate things. Whereas,
But
from
you
what I
could take
understand,
someone in just for looking at you funny, huh?
yeah, well, depending on the circumstances. So, like, the sovereign citizen, like, I know in the States you guys have this like Supreme Court thing that you talk about a lot. But in Canada, it's like if he fails to produce anything that's lawfully uh, demanded, then it's just an arrest right away, and then you pull him out of the vehicle. You can use as much force as necessary, as reasonably necessary to get that done. So yeah,
I think I've read that statute. It says you're allowed to have a little bit of fun.
it says you're allowed to have a little bit of fun. There may be a
Yeah.
public complaint made against you, but you're
No,
allowed to
no.
have a
I
little bit
mean,
of
like,
fun.
you're allowed to slap the guy around a little bit, record
Oh
him,
yeah, 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 yeah.
make fun of make fun of him and his family, and kind of tease him and pistol whip him maybe one or
Yeah,
two times.
yeah, yeah. I did
Just
that.
kidding.
I was pretty
They don't
new.
do that.
I was pretty new at the time. I did that to a vehicle, and don't recommend.
You pistol whipped a vehicle.
Oh no, I did. It was a high risk. Oh no. One of my law enforcement partners is pulling up next to me here.
All right. Well, I will catch you later, buddy.
No, that's okay. What's going on? What? I am. Are you busy? Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I'll catch up with you in a bit. Okay. Okay. See you later, buddy. Okay. Oh, okay. Have fun. So that is
That guy really wants to talk to you.
yeah, it's Dave. He's a national park warden. So he's a technically he's a law enforcement officer, but we make fun of them a lot.
Aren't they the ones that have the best equipment, though?
Oh no. No, 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 no. These guys, they don't know.
Oh, how it is where I'm from is that the conservation guys are certified law enforcement officers, and they have all the best stuff. So we don't make fun of them. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
you know
they are
they
also
just have
federal.
ballistic shields for a bear riot or things like that. You know, just ready to go at any time.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, these guys, no, there's fewer of them because their scope is smaller than our scope. And so they're different than the conservation. So we do have provincial conservation officers, and they just deal with like provincial statutes and provincial parks and whatnot. And then there's the wardens, and they're a different entity. Uh, and then there's us, the regular coppers.
Do you think Dave's very lonesome?
He is. He's very lonesome. He's a funny guy, though.
I mean, maybe there's not a whole lot going on, so he was just happy to see another human being, and then let alone another person in uniform. He's like, "I'm going to turn this into what I'm doing for the next 2 hours," and you just blew him off.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Dave, I'm
I
going to
love
catch up with you
Dave. Though
later.
funny though sometimes.
I'm off enforcing the law. He's like, "Oh, I didn't hear anything on the radio. I got to go, Dave." You should have
Yeah,
just asked him what the ETA was on the
they're.
toe just to see what he said.
I should have. They don't. Oh my gosh, it's really funny because they don't enforce the criminal code as much as we do, although they can. So because they don't do it very often, they always like call us for assistance on how to like do paperwork and stuff.
I was going to
So
say
not
they're
only
probably
are
can handle low stuff like misdemeanors, but if they find drugs in the car, do they have to call you out to handle it?
oh yeah, 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 absolutely. Same with drunk drivers and whatnot. People on warrants, they call us for assistance and everything, and then we help them out deal with it. Although they've been taking on their supervisor, who when I first got here, uh, their supervisor, the I don't know what they call them, the head warden or whatever. He told them like he doesn't really want them to do a whole lot of enforcement. Don't know why. Um, but he's gone, and so ever since he's left, they've actually really picked up uh, their enforcement, which is really good. Good on them.
Can I ask you a general question?
Sure.
Do you like enforcing the law? Is that fun for you?
Well, it's not really enforcing. It's more they take more of an educational approach, really.
I mean, do you like enforcing the
But
law?
do I?
Yeah.
It's fun sometimes. Like I never I never wanted to be a cop ever in my life. And then the opportunity rose. Someone mentioned to me that they were hiring, so I tried and here I am. I mean, I have a little bit of military experience, so I kind of have like an idea, but I thought I'd give it a shot and here I am. So
It's so funny. I just want to put it on record that there's so many people out there who dream of the job that you have, and you fell into it by mistake, and you could take it or leave it. I just want that to be put on the record.
you're
Doesn't matter to
absolutely
you.
right. You're not wrong, John. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
How have you been otherwise?
But I've been good. I've been good. But no one will listen anyway. Um, tired,
No one.
baby's taking a lot of our energy. So I was up till midnight last night, and then I was on call starting at 4 a.m. until my shift at 8 a.m. So I'm very tired, but that's what coffee and energy drinks are for, I guess.
Yeah. I need something myself.
How are you doing?
Yeah, trying to stay positive, trying to stay optimistic, but all the things that get me down are coming back at me. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I get that. That's why you got to do maintenance meetings, and that's why I have maintenance meetings with my shrink once a month.
well, my counselor had a stroke. So
No, no way.
we're looking at next year before services will resume. So and I'm guessing that
Uh,
the stroke was a natural reaction towards finding out things about me and that she'll probably not remember me at all. So
yeah, I think you're a direct contributor, actually.
I'm going to make sure that she takes some stroke management pills, and then we'll just start over from scratch. Because obviously, if she learns all that again, she'll have another stroke. So
Oh, that job that I told you I applied for in Washington, I didn't get it. I got an email today from the whoever's doing it, the selection process, and they just said that I wasn't moving on in the selection process. So I was pretty bummed about that this morning.
probably because they found out that you didn't really want to be a cop, and you're only doing it because they hired you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Well,
probably
that's
it.
too bad. Yeah, I mean, you might get it at some point in the future, though. Maybe, who knows? You could come down to the United States, and
Yeah,
um, we could
yeah.
give you some Chick-fil-A or something that they don't have there where you are. So I don't know. I don't know what else
I
the other benefit
know.
would be.
Well, every time I go to the big city, they have Chick-fil-A now. And I always make it a priority to go there and stop in to get something because I don't know what it is, but they just have really good. They have good chicken, and the nutrients are pretty good for a fast food joint.
Yeah. I mean, the salt's, ridiculously high, but, you could do worse.
Well, you don't get the salty stuff. You just get I usually just get the cup of the grilled chicken nuggets, and that's all I
Oh,
get.
yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like 50 grams of protein.
That'll
You know,
fix you up. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you, for some reason or no reason or any reason, just jumping on the show to catch up with me. Um, I don't want a
anytime,
hot
man.
call to come out and then you have to leave abruptly. So I appreciate you listening and watching, and let me finish out these memes so I can get going to the gym. What do you say?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I did the gym this morning, so you better get to it.
Yes, I better get back to leg day, but we need to collaborate again soon. I don't know what's going on
Sure.
Thursday, but we're tentatively talking about how the case in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Irina Zarutska, the girl who got slashed on the bus, and how the
Oh
911
yeah.
calls about that. One of the first complaints from 911 was is that there was no police presence. And then we're going to dial back the clock to say, well, where was Charlotte 5 years ago? What were they asking for? Was it police presence, or were they asking for defund the police? Is this what you get?
You're
So,
What a great perspective of rewinding the clock and figuring out what led to that. Yeah, absolutely.
well,
Is that live or no?
people are telling Drew that the defund movement never actually happened, that nothing was actually ever defunded, and we got receipts from the past, and we're not going to be gaslit by this guy. So we may do something else though. He's traveling. I might just do scariest 911 phone calls because we're headed towards Halloween. So is Halloween big where you are, by the way?
Um, Regionally, where I am right now, it's not too big, but we usually get about 100 or more kids popping up to our door. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hundreds a lot. I know Halloween has no meaning for you because you get to dress up in your favorite costume every day, but for the rest of us, it's a big deal. So
Yeah, true. Okay, well, is it a live show on Thursday or no?
it'll be live. I'm not recording anything right now, so I'm thinking it's going to be live. So it'll be good.
Okay. Okay, because I work Thursday night,
We'll figure
so
out something else sometime.
I'll try to tune in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do
Okay.
do what
All
you
right, sounds
do
good,
what you
buddy.
got to do, and take care of your people and take care of your family, and we'll catch up with you, buddy.
All right, sounds good. See you later.
Bye. This is a show where apparently you can watch the show and be on the show. It is fine. It is no big deal. That happens here. Anyway, just to follow up thoughts on this, it's just a little overwrought, and it's like we're trying to get a point across that dispatching is hard and dispatching takes a toll on us. And we mostly have to work hard to make that point because no one thinks that it does. They think we just answer the phones. But I don't know. You don't see comments like this from police officers on X. So, if you want to be taken as seriously as them, maybe you kind of have to just carry that burden in silence. I don't know. Vibes are off. NASA confirms something is weird going on with our universe. NASA says, according to the Independent UK, there's something weird happening in the universe. No idea what it is, though. Here's me texting Drew. Did you miss me? Yes. Yes, what? Spell it out. I missed you. Good. Did you miss me? No. It's one way. Let's get a little political. Ooh. Saying it's both sides would imply that both sides are experiencing their presidents being shot and influencers publicly executed. That's called psychopathic gaslighting. It's not happening in both sides, everybody. I don't think anyone would see any reason for killing Joe Biden. He didn't do anything. There was no reason to try to stop him. He just sort of let bad things just sort of happen on their own. He didn't actively make anything bad happen. There was no reason to take him out. But don't let them gaslight us, like I was just saying with Tanner, that they're constantly trying to rewrite history and accuse us of those things, which they are guilty. This place looks safe. I'll just park here. You guys remember this vehicle being parked on the dock? It's not a safe place to park. I really have to compliment the text or the pixel artists on here, because you can see a little reflection of the sun, the windshield. Did a really great job on that. 1 slurp of milk per trick-or-treater, guys. You always hate it when the teenagers come along. They're not even wearing a costume. And they take a long draft of sweet, sweet cow's milk. You guys ever listen to The Sounds of Cylons by Simon and Garfunkel? Not as good. Just as a reminder, guys, when you hate on somebody, when you make fun of a stranger, you tear them down, what are you really accomplishing? Well, you're making your friends laugh, and that's the best feeling in the whole world. Each morning, I put 1 uncooked ravioli in a thermos. I pour hot water over it, steeping it like tea, and then I drink it all day at work. I work at the White House, and then at the end of the day, I take the last sip of tea, and the soft ravioli slides into my mouth, and then I eat it. 40 people just unfollowed me. What makes me mad about this is that this was very similar to a something I said on True Crime. One time, Kendra was talking about her favorite grocery or her favorite snack. Her favorite grocery was prepared foods from Publix or whatever. And then her favorite snack, I don't remember what it was. But I said, I know you're not going to ask me, so I'm just going to say it. But my favorite snack is a spoonful of peanut butter. At the end of the day, I put it into my mouth when I go to bed. And then when I wake up hungry in the middle of the night, I simply swallow it. That was a good show. You guys remember Spider-Man 2? It just played in theaters this past weekend. Peter, I don't want to hear about your 2 jobs, university, internship, dead parents, dead uncle, 1 living relative who's a sick old lady, financial struggles, loss of your house, and your scooter that got demolished in a car accident. Why didn't you show up at my play? I have to sleep with Chad now. Bye. First of all, Chad was John Jameson. He was an astronaut. Okay. Peter Parker cannot compete with the first man to play football on the moon. But Mary Jane just wanted to feel like she mattered at all, and Peter couldn't make her feel like she mattered. It wasn't really the show, although the show was super important to her because, she was struggling so much. She was waiting tables, but she had finally made it. She was finally doing something. She was playing in the importance of being earnest or something. I don't remember what it was. And Peter just wasn't there. And I don't think that it was that he wasn't there so much as that he said he would be and then he wasn't. It's the broken promises that hurt MJ. If he said, if Peter had said, "You're important to me and I want to show you how important you are. But like, this is the other stuff that's in my field. This is the other stuff that I'm dealing with." And if he had relied more on her for support and she could see how much she could do for him, maybe that would have been better. But instead, he just made promises he couldn't keep. Don't do that. Much like the mighty buffalo, I have no fucking money. Right now is a fabulous time to be alive if you love verification codes, verifying your email, yelling real person into a phone at a robot, reading nightmarish news every day, and finally, hot. Trying to cancel your account with Teespring. Gosh, there's a lot of memes left to go. We got to get through this, people. I will never learn my lesson. I always upload too many memes. Whenever I look at how many memes I've uploaded, it always looks like, well, I've hardly done any. But it takes each one of them like 3 minutes to get through. Ever since I was a little girl, I have loved staying up late, hanging out by myself, and thinking about stuff and things. That's me. Here's your daily affirmations. You are being constantly watched. Walls have ears. Every mirror is two-way glass, and your thoughts are being tracked. Your Honor, I would like to plead guilty and request the death penalty. This is just a parking ticket. I don't think the judge would be amused by that if you actually said that in court. Saw a billboard that said anxiety, paranoia, could be meth. And I was like, oh my God, I've been on meth this whole time. That's one thing you should do before you go see the doctor about your anxiety. Double check to make sure that you're not on meth or doing meth. It's kind of like how whenever you call IT, the first thing they tell you is like, well, turn it off and turn it back on again, and then it works. And then you look like an idiot. Just turn off the meth. And then, if you want, turn it back on. And then, check with your doctor, your clinician to see if anti-anxiety drugs to put on top of your methamphetamine is right for you. It's funny how phones have made clock towers obsolete. Like now I can just Google images of a clock tower or whatever I want. Yeah, we don't need a clock tower. We don't need to build one. We can just look at all the classics, all the great ones. One from Back to the Future. That's the one I look at. It's always 10:04. Did you know that smoking one cigarette brings you about 11 minutes closer to meeting God, the Father Almighty? You thought about smoking cigarettes as part of a salvation plan? Perhaps it's just because I'm a podcaster, but I'm chronically online in a different and more sophisticated way than you are. Rage bait often works on me because I was already angry before I read that. That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry. I think my sister probably bailed on me after I doubled down on making fun of someone who dressed up as a Native American instead of thinking it was horrible rather than just realizing it was funny, which is what it actually was. People go to their family when they're sad and rely on them for support. What the fuck? I've literally never done this, by the way. It's never happened. My darkest moments, I withdraw. I do not even think to reach out to them. Sorry. I just don't do that. Probably the most embarrassing thing on earth is having to answer questions from an electrician or anybody in your house, to be honest with you. Anybody who knows anything to the point where this is the reason why you called them there. They're obviously the expert. And then they ask you a question. You're like, I don't know. That's why you're here. Where's your emergency disconnect? Sir, all I know is somewhere we have put lightning inside of the wires. That's all I could tell you. Why don't I talk to my family? Well, why voice your opinions around them when you could just stab yourself in the left kidney for the same result? Me telling my sister not to take a costume of an Indian girl so seriously, well, I get told that I'm wrong for doing that. So I might as well just stab myself in the left kidney. We're expecting a hard frost tonight. Robert Frost kicks in the door. I've got miles to go before I sleep, motherfucker. It's so stupid, but I like it. I'm a horrible texter, but I'm also really bad at talking to people in person. So I really have nothing going for me. This is me, guys. Not good at texting, not good at following up on texts, not good at replying. I'm not good at saying things. I'm definitely worse in person. I'm worse in person, but but as bad as I am in person, I'm actually worse in text. And as bad as I am in text, I'm actually worse in person. So double worse. You don't understand. My birthday is January 4th, 1988. So that's why you have 1488 in your username. No. I don't think anyone actually does that, though, do they? You ever see anyone with 1488? You never see that. Can you call me? Hello? I'm trying to fucking nap. Sorry, I thought you were at work. I am. Nice. When I ask someone to hang out, hey, are you free to hang out? Wait, actually, never mind. I want to be alone. Sorry. That's me. This one's dark, everyone. Strap in. This one goes out to my sister, who may or may not hate men. My brother committed unaliving himself. I just got home. I thought you hated men. Aren't you excited there's one less of them? Joe Indian said that, not me. Don't ask me for relationship advice. No one has ever loved me. Yeah. Yeah. But they were right. They were right not to. It's hard to argue. You are so damn fine. Thanks. I would like to meet you one day. Have you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Yes. Then we shall meet in heaven. Softest letdown ever. Adding LMAO does not hide your hurt. Yes, it do. Laughing my ass off. That hides your hurt. Oh, I already played that one. Don't look at this one, everyone. Look away. Look away. That one too. Shucks. And that one. Mom, am I ugly? I told you not to call me mom in front of people. I always remember my mom screaming at me directly to my ear. She put her mouth right next to my ear and yell at me and get it all wet and moist. It was so gross and awful. The universe is an ongoing explosion. That's where you live, in an explosion. We absolutely don't know what living is. Sometimes atoms just get very haunted. That's us. When an explosion explodes hard enough, dust wakes up and thinks about itself. So this is a joke, but this is literally what atheists think, that when an explosion explodes hard enough, dust wakes up and thinks about itself. They say that believing in God is too far-fetched. Just can't believe in it. Sorry. But you believe that an explosion explodes hard enough and dust wakes up and thinks about itself. Okay. Oh, hey, man, we were just talking about your flaw, that immutable thing that you're only vaguely aware of that makes you unworthy of true love. Anyway, what's new? Why do these things resonate with me? You tell me. That was the last meme, by the way. Sorry, give me 5 minutes. He had to go out and enforce the law. People saying hi to Patty. Do you guys want to know who Patty is? Should I even explain that? What are these citizens and states you speak of, Tally? I forget that we're like a good 20% Canadian around here. We have neither of those things. Jonathan, she did write a song about Travis Kelce. Would, though. Yes, by would, it was his dick. Did she really do that? That's awful. Ugh. I preferred to call it soul searching. Now I don't remember what this was about. Is it about the fish that's named Soul or the soul that's the bottom of your foot? Searching for a shoe. I don't remember the joke. I'm sure that was funny. We have to reference provinces and also write everything in French for Tanner and Tyler. Alina, I'm making a breakfast. Sammy, for my husband. You're making that for Brecky this morning. Please explain it. Michael, remember, I don't understand what you're talking about unless in every single reply you tell me what you're talking about. They manipulate the meaning of the U.S. Constitution, especially about traveling versus driving. Oh. There's nothing legally coherent or durable about anything that a sovereign citizen says. That's why I want to apply that same philosophy to being a sovereign police officer. I have seen a lot on YouTube, like states in Florida that have some in Iowa too. They're all over the place. They're here as well. Maybe they want an ETA because they need to use the restroom. Right, but how will knowing? So if you have to pee, knowing that they will get here in 2 minutes or knowing that they will get here in 52 minutes, what is the difference? How does knowing help? You still have to go to the bathroom. Does it just help you to have some idea of like to know how much you're going to suffer? Does that make it easier for you? Sovereign citizens and the Moorish nation people are often flat earthers, hilarious, infuriating at the same time. I don't answer questions. I do not agree. Sovereign citizens, I don't agree to this arrest. Apparently, Canadians can then just ask you for one thing, and when you say no, you're done for. You can have a little bit of fun, but no guns. They have guns up there. Tanner's getting people all the time. He's cooking them all the time. Hello there. I'll be looking for a little bit, or I have to jump off and on again. Marines Blood, when you can, send me the URL for the Discord, because I found out on StreamYard there's a way to make a QR code, and I figured I could probably make a QR code of that. Unless we just wanted to completely abandon Discord, because Discord's the place where people like Tyler Robinson go to hang out and develop strange communities and reinforce each other's really socially destructive behavior. I don't know. Jenny, that's great. Got to Tasmania yesterday. The weather is crazy, but gosh, it's beautiful here. I would love to go to Tasmania. Go see the devils. I will pull some footage from some stage for you, Jenny. I'm not going to be posting holiday stuff on my IG until after I'm back. Hope you're riding safely and driving safely, and watch out for the Tasmanian devils. Is Tanner in BC then? We're not going to talk about where he is. That would be wrong. Chick-fil-A lemonade is amazing, and their salads are too. I love their diet lemonade. I was 50 miles from Mount Baker. I don't do skiing though. Thanks for everyone to allowing Tanner to be on the show and talk about cop stuff. One time he literally reached out to me because he needed help running an Oregon driver's license, and I was like trying to figure out what the deal was with it. So it's like I like betrayed my countrymen to help a law enforcement officer of another country. I don't know. Mixed feelings about it. Cupcakes, good to see you. I'm joining a little bit late, but always good to see you here. I was wondering who it was, but as those numbers creeped up. Clock towers, like so many things, have become unnecessary, including many of my old jobs. We're losing a part of our country, though. The culture is in the architecture. You never see steeples. You never see clock towers. Nothing's nice anymore. Everything's built very simply, very plain, very cheaply. And what does it say about our country? One of the things I really liked about being in Stanton, Virginia, is that everything there is very, very old. And everything there is very, very beautiful. And even though it's a town of dirty hippies, I still really liked it there. I was surprised by how much I like Stanton. Also, I should have mentioned this at the top of the show, but I had raw oysters and raw clams for the first time in my life. So that was kind of a deal, you know, and my lobster still had a face on it. What's 1488? Exactly. What is it? Secret code. I don't think anyone actually does that. I love this one. I don't know which one you mean. It's white supremacist code talk. By the way, if you are a white supremacist, you're lame. Even if we are the best, like going on about yourself is boasting. But code talk, seriously? Come on. What is this? A fort? What are you, 5? Is it like 6, 7? I had to Google that last night. I have no idea what 6, 7 means, and I think that's the point. Is that it has no meaning. Yeah, the quiet yell to the kid's ear that's super effective, though. I used to use it a lot over the years. My oldest just turned 13, so hate us soon. Yeah, the quiet yell. She probably doesn't like being called patty cake, if I had to guess. Soul searching alcoholism. Thank you, Tanner. You decoded the past to illuminate the future. I can only pay attention to so much at a time. That's what he called his alcoholism, was soul searching. But he spelled S-O-L-E, like soul. Regarding the Simpsons meme, please explain it. All right. Someone actually asked. All right, so there's a lot of accounts out there where someone will take a classic moment from The Simpsons and then they mix it with another classic moment from The Simpsons. So what this is that Homer met a coworker at the power plant named Mindy, and there's like undeniable chemistry between them. And Homer's like, I love Marge. I'm not getting involved with Mindy. But fate kind of kept conspiring to put them in places where they were alone together. They'd be alone together. And Homer really didn't want to cheat on Marge, but he was really, really, really attracted to Mindy. And so it was just one of those things where it's just kind of uncomfortable because Homer keeps getting fed up all these like easy layups situations for him to cheat on his wife with Mindy. And Mindy's a sweet girl. She's not trying to break a house or anything. It's just, there's attraction between them. And in a sense, it's kind of innocent. But Homer loves his wife. That's actually one thing I love about The Simpsons is that, unless the show's changed, since I stopped watching it, like Homer doesn't do Marge dirty like that. He did let her take the blame for a DUI in one episode, which I think is not good. But so anyway, they get sent on a conference together out of town, a business conference. So it's like, they could stay in the same hotel room. They could do whatever they want. And Homer's upset and he goes to Mindy and he says like, I'm just really sad. And Mindy's like, well, what are you sad about? He goes, because we're going to have sex. It's just going to happen, because like throughout the entire episode, like events just to keep pushing them closer together. He's like, I like you and I think that'd be great, but I really love Marge. I really love my wife. And in the context of that situation, Mindy goes, right before that, she goes, let's do it, Homer. Let's call room service. So Mindy's not, she's not trying to break any home, but it keeps coming up with these situations where you think Homer's going to break. All right. So that's the first frame, all of that. And another episode that's about Edna Krabappel being lovelorn. She's showing a boring video to Bart's class about the importance of zinc in our society. And for some reason, they're watching this movie in which a character named Billy, for some reason, wishes that there was no such thing as zinc. He wishes away zinc. And kind of like It's a Wonderful Life, where Jimmy Stewart wishes he had never been born or whatever. He gets to see a life where he had not made any impact on the people of Bedford Falls. Okay. So he got to see what his life was like if he had never been born. So in the film that they're watching in Bart's class, everything's bad because there's no zinc. Well, Billy finally takes a gun and tries to do himself in, but nothing happens when he drops the hammer on the revolver. And he goes, unfortunately, your firing pin was made of, you guessed it, Billy, zinc. And so Billy's like, zinc, come back, zinc. So you see why I didn't explain it? And they do that on this account, Madman Mo's Simpsons memes. And there's other accounts, but they constantly do this. There was another one where it was the zinc thing again. And this guy here's like, Billy, there's only 117 elements on that periodic table. And he goes, I'll be in the cold ground before I count zinc. So I'm never explaining anything ever again. We're done. I'm not explaining things anymore. It's not funny when I explain it. It's better to just not explain it. Constitution says nobody can restrict you from traveling from state to state. By the way, Jonathan, it's 0407 here. Much more acceptable time to randomly wake up and catch smoke break. I feel bad for you. You wake you up in the middle of I mean, 4 a.m. That's KGB rating your house time. John, we agreed to never speak of that. Oh, sorry. I have let you down once again. The girl's brother dying. Oh, you love that one? Aren't you glad that there's one less man around? Yeah, my sister had nothing to say about it, so she did the usual thing where she got mad at me and left. The sound of the pilot plot of The Office when that chick liked Jim. I would say that one episode of The Simpsons with Mindy, and by the way, nothing ended up happening. It was all in one episode, so it was all happening very fast. I enjoyed it a lot until Andy took center stage. Yeah, season 2 onwards, really after the episode The Merger, that show became a cartoon. You could watch that show until the merger, and then the show's over. I'm really surprised I haven't watched the Brit version because I love Ricky Gervais, but I don't really watch much TV. Neither do I. Folks, the show's gone on almost 2 hours. It's not acceptable. I have a life to lead. So do all of you. I don't know what's happening on Thursday. No idea. We have an outline of a plan, but plans change sometimes. All I know is that it looks to be that we could be going live. It'll at least be me live. Drew is traveling. He's going to Dallas, Texas to go pay homage to the Cowboys and Jerry Jones. It's a pilgrimage that he has to do in order for him to make his peace, I guess. But he's hurting about Buffalo losing to the Patriots last night. It just feels like we're all back in prison because of that happening. All right. We will catch you back here next time. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for helping me reacclimate to my normal life. I appreciate all of you guys watching the show. And to all of those who start at the beginning and watch all the way to the end, you're a special breed because not everyone does that. Some people drop in halfway through. Some people leave after they hear me make a slightly offensive joke and they cannot bear to hear more. That happens sometimes. But, we can't all bear to hear things, I guess. All right, guys, we will catch you back here on Thursday night and points afterwards. Thanks so much for watching the show. I appreciate all of you. Yeah, Shorty, it's not your fault. It's the middle of the night.